50 minutes? Okay. And so, before I got to where I am and who I am today, I'm a little bit about my story. I come from the trenches. I'm from San Diego, California, and my disease took me to places that I never thought I would have ended up. Okay. And only by the grace of God. And so by way of parole, I ended up in San Francisco, California, because you see, my mom died. I was 25. I got introduced to drugs and alcohol, and the lifestyle. And so I too almost would have been doing life. To the young lady, when they played that song, I Never Should Have Made It, I was the person who either would have been, I should have been dead or doing life in prison, because those were kind of activities that I participated when I was out there in the street. See, I don't have a problem with telling you my story, because it's only by the miraculous of women in a program called, I come from a program called Narcotics Anonymous. A lot of you might have heard of that. And I'm not trying to, promote that, but that was a big part of my story. The court system, my parole agent, my counselor, my therapist, all of those people played a major part in my life in essentially raising me into the woman I am today, because I could have never did it by myself. I ended up in San Francisco by way of the court, and I ended up in a program called Free at Last. Some of you might have known it's in East Palo Alto. And through that program, I met some women who loved on me. So when I came in here, when I got here, I didn't have no identity when I got here. I didn't know who I was, because the streets had stripped me so bad that I didn't know who I was. I didn't know whether I was, a woman of God. I didn't know if I was my mother's daughter. I didn't know who I was, because I had lost myself in the streets. Because I had to do whatever it took to get that next one. I don't know if y'all might not know what I'm talking about, but even life on life might strip you and have you doing some things you never thought you would have ended up doing. And so, because I surrendered, and it was only through God. I'm not trying to promote religion or anything, but my story is I serve a God that is almightier than me. And because I surrendered, He did for me what I could never do for myself. See, I got introduced to a treatment facility, and through that facility, I got introduced to some powerful women who were already walking in the grace of the program of being clean and in church. And so those women loved me until I could love myself. And what I love about empowering women is that we do recover from all manifestations. I don't care if drug was never even part of your story. We all go through some traumatic situations in life. Selling myself when I was out there, doing whatever I had to do. Like, I never thought I was going to end up being the person I was. But drugs had took so much of my life that I lost my direction and my identity. And I had a parole agent who was from East Palo Alto. I remember he kept telling me, he kept breathing life into me and saying, you know what, Denise, you're more than what you think you are. And so he introduced me to treatment, which was Free at Last. And the women there loved me. And they started giving me empowerment phrases and telling me that I'm a woman of worth and that you're beautiful and you too can recover, and you're not that person you walked in here as. Your name is Denise. And see, I had that alter ego too. I came in here with this person who was raised in the street, and her name was Tiffany. And she got here and she was quick to fight and slow to listen. And when I got here, I was so desperate, because spiritually I had sold my soul everywhere I went. And when I got here, I said, I just want to be able to not use. I just want to be able to look somebody in the eye and feel human. And I surrendered to this grateful program. And what happened for me was God started peeling back the layers of damage and wreckage and pain and degradation and demoralization. And what I found out was I am a woman of worth. Yes. And so what they're doing with this, what Tracy is doing and other women, this is beautiful. Like, I love inspiring other women. When I got here and God gave me a voice, I love to give it back. I can't keep this unless I give it to another woman or a man. Because what I've known is God created us all in our own dignity, in our own grace. And so by coming here and being able to share. See, I was coming here anyways for Unity Day, so I'm honored for her to ask me to be able to share a little bit about myself, So what happened for me is I got off of parole because see, new dreams awaken and new possibilities arise for all women. You know what I mean? The sky is the limit. You can be anything that you inspire to be. And when I got here, I got a voice. And it was only because, see, I was damaged when I was out there. And when I got here, I had a whole lot of mental issues. And I didn't think that I had those issues, but I was very introverted, depression. I was traumatized because so much had happened to me out there. But what happened was therapy helped me be able to find who I was and to forgive myself. Because self-forgiveness is a huge part of ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves because we did so much to ourselves out there or wherever you might have come from. And on a daily basis, that's something I do inspire every day is to forgive myself. Because every day I try to be the best person I am. I try to be the best mother. I try to be the best daughter. I try to be the best sister, sponsee. You know, I wear so many hats today, and it's only because God allowed me to suit up and show up. You know, so thank you. So today, where I'm at today is, you know, I just moved back to San Diego, California. I'm originally from San Diego, California, but San Francisco will always be. You know, there's some women here who actually played a big part in my life. You know, I see some women over here that were a big part of my life. You know, East Oakland Recovery Center was a big part of my recovery. And those women, I watched the women every single day because I just wanted to be like you. I didn't know who I was when I got here. And I watched beautiful women come in and out and talk about how they too got clean and how they got their daughters back and how they got jobs and they went to college and they did this and that. And I said, damn, I want to be able to just, first of all, stay clean. Second of all, just be able to show up and love on Denise. Because I didn't have no self-love when I got here. And then what happened for me is those women sprinkled a little bit of love in me every single day. And I kept coming back. And I kept inspiring to be just like them. And what happened? Days became weeks, weeks became months, months became years, and I became the woman just like they are too. You know, so to all the beautiful women in here, you can be anything you want. Don't let nobody hold you back. We get to motivate, inspire, and enhance one another. So I'm truly grateful, you know, to be here. You know, at first I didn't know how to tailor what I was going to say because I'm a big, Narcotics Anonymous is a big part of my story.
That's okay.
And so whenever I share, you know, that's where I come from. That's a big part of my story, but God first and then Narcotics Anonymous. So I always want to tell ladies, you know, I came from the criminal system, you know, jails, institutions, and almost death. That was my story. You know, I never should have made it. Oh, shoot. I never should have made it. I never should have been the woman today. But when I got here and I started utilizing the system, the criminal system, I started trusting my parole agent. I started trusting, you know, them sending me to therapy and different things like that. Because when I got here, I thought there was nothing wrong with me. I knew all the answers. My first thing I would say was, I know. Yeah, I know. I know what I'm supposed to do. But if I knew all that, I would have did it a long time ago. But I was powerless. So today I get to suit up and show up. Today, you know, I went back to college, and today I'm a drug and alcohol counselor. And so I'm going to college. I have 9 more units for my master's in social work. And I just opened my first sober living for women, and it's called Women on the Way. And that's in San Diego, California. And when she was talking about, you know, what did you aspire to be? I inspired her to be a lawyer because, see, I'm the only girl of 10 boys. And so I come from a family where all my brothers was hustlers and pimps, and they did all of that stuff. And I always wanted to go in prison or jail and get them out of jail. Like, I wanted to show up with my briefcase and say, yeah, I'm here to get such and such out of jail, you know, because they were all I knew. And what happened was God redirected my journey, and I became something I never thought I would have been. But today I get to work in the field with those who are untreated, and I get to give them the message of hope that if I can recover, you can too. So I want to thank you guys for allowing me to come and be a part of this beautiful, beautiful event. Thank you, Tracy. I love you so much.